the Lexus RC, or more specifically, the Lexus RC 350 F Sport. What is this vehicle? I mean, seriously, take a look at it and tell me what it is. Is it a luxury car? Is it a sports car? Is it fast? Is it slow? Is it exciting? Is it boring? I have never been so conflicted about a vehicle in my life. Let's start at the top and try to narrow it down. Is it a sports car? Driving it doesn't really feel sporty. The only hint of sportiness is the seeming lack of power steering. Like, it is really hard to steer this thing, especially in Sport Plus mode. But driving it fast isn't really satisfying. It feels like it's gonna shove into almost every corner. There isn't even a hint of oversteer. You would probably need another 200 horsepower to get this chassis to oversteer. There just isn't enough power there. Maybe for parking lot donuts, it's got enough, but just driving out on the road, it's gonna shove into every corner long before you get any hint of oversteer. Driving it in Sport Plus really just is a workout. On top of that, the car feels heavy. There's a lot of car here for not a lot of car here. The chassis is hefty feeling. Every bump you hit, you're steamrolling it. It really feels solid, and I'm sure that's because Lexus knows how to build a car. A sports car, they know how to do that too, but it's not this car. I seriously don't want to be too mean to it, but it's like driving a Camry with stiffer steering, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's just not very engaging. God, there's not even a hint of oversteer, because every corner feels like it's struggling to redirect the nose. So maybe it's not a sports car. Is it a luxury car? Well, if it was, it would have lighter steering, that's for sure. Let's put it in eco mode. Steering really doesn't change that much. It is slightly noticeable, slightly lighter, but it's still really heavy. The seats, on the other hand, are phenomenal. They're very comfortable, very supportive, probably for somebody a little bit wider than me, you know, an American. And the seats are heated and cooled along with a heated steering wheel. So very luxurious on that front. The steering wheel feels great. F Sport badge on the steering wheel. There's plenty of controls on here, paddles, all that. You really need the paddles? Maybe. The engine is buttery smooth. Lexus V8 smooth. This thing is smooth as silk. The transmission, also like an absolute cloud. It shifts. You don't even notice it shifting. It's so smooth. The drivetrain is seriously nailed down. Lexus did an absolutely phenomenal job making this engine idle, cruise, shift, everything smooth as glass. And I'm sure because it's a Toyota, it's going to be incredibly reliable too. All of that makes it not very fast. My foot completely planted. It might do 0 to 60 in about 5 seconds. So like the BMW I drove last time, it's quick, but not exactly fast. I'm sure 0 to 60 would be like 1/10 of a second faster if they actually made it to 60 in what I think is either second or third gear, but it has to shift one more time at 58 miles per hour. I do really appreciate the gauge cluster. Having a tachometer as the full center gauge instead of a speedometer is way more engaging than having some crappy speedometer that's telling you your speed over here and it's just barely moving. Have the RPMs be there. Have the tachometer give you all of that travel when your foot is mashed to the floor. This car has all kinds of true luxury car features, automatic air conditioning, navigation, really awkward to control navigation if I'm being honest, awkward to control radio, center console, Bluetooth connectivity, all that great stuff that you expect in a car that was built in the last 10 years. Sunroof, moonroof, Ooh, that's really sunny. Garage door opener, really soft touch headliner if I'm being honest, you know? Oh crap handles on both sides of the car in case you need to let go of the steering for both. Overall, it's got everything you think it should have. So yes, this is a boring car, but it's an inevitable creation when you think about the buyer Lexus was targeting when they built this car. I mean, seriously, take a step back and think about it. Reasonable people, actual adults, not me. The person you thought you would be when you grew up, but then realized we're all just children in aging bodies. That's who Lexus was targeting with this car. This car is incredibly boring because it is incredibly practical for a coupe. Reasonable people want spare tires. Lexus, like most manufacturers, could have left the spare tire out, but they didn't. Reasonable people want reliable drivetrains, and with a naturally aspirated V6, a standard torque converter 8-speed automatic transmission, and a basic rear-wheel drive differential, there's no turbos, there's no intercoolers, there's no all-wheel drive systems, front differential, transfer case, none of that can go wrong. Yes, you can have all of those things in this vehicle, but this build, as far as modern car standards go, is about as complex as a hammer. And for that, I can really appreciate what they've done with this car. They haven't gone to any lengths to make it more complicated. And to some people, that will really help them sleep at night. Reasonable people want back seats for cheaper insurance. Now, there's not a whole lot of legroom back here once you're in here. If the seat comes back some, you might as well not have legs at all. Reasonable people are just gonna fold them flat and go out of town for the weekend. Might have to move that seat forward some. So yeah, this car might not be exciting, but it is the high school sweetheart to the one-night stand. There will be no surprises. It's not gonna leave you stranded. It's not gonna bite your head off in the middle of a corner, and it's definitely not gonna steal your wallet after a long night of riding it hard. This is a reasonable car for reasonable people. In the pursuit of perfection, Lexus has stumbled across the perfect compromise. A sporty looking car, and I'm gonna say it again, for reasonable people. And for under $40,000, it is also a reasonable price. So let me know in the comments what you think about the RC. Like this video, get subscribed, and we'll see you in the next one. I might be in Georgia by then. God, these are really nice houses. Probably look good in one of these driveways. Are these reasonable people?